Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. I wasn't expecting to do 2 videos in the same day, but I've been getting asked so much to make a video on this that I kind of have to. And that's my thoughts on the Patrick Beverley situation. So in case you guys don't know, after the Pacers closed out their series against the Bucks last night, Patrick Beverley on the bench threw the ball into the stands at a lady, and it hit her in the head. Granted, first time was like a lob, but still, he threw the ball at a fan. Then he's standing there calling for the ball back like he did it on accident, and then once he gets the ball back, he pegs it at one of those guys. One of the guys I guess he was actually trying to hit. And then after all of that, okay, during the interview session, he asked Melinda Adams, who has been in the ESPN circle and doing interviews for over 40 years, if she's subscribed to his podcast. And she said no, and he's like, you can't ask me a question. And then he moved on, and then even doubled down afterwards, saying, can you please get your mic out of the microphone circle if you're not subscribed to my podcast, which just comes off incredibly petty. I think it honestly, if I were other players in the NBA, I'd be a little pissed about this. And the reason being is that the NBA really supports the players branching out and doing their own thing. And doing stuff like this where you're going to shut out reporters because they're not subscribed to your podcast is just going to leave a bad taste in the public's mouth about who you are. And it also, it just doesn't look good. You know, it doesn't really make any sense, really. Granted, Melinda Adams did put out a tweet on Twitter saying that Patrick Beverley and the Bucks themselves actually called out, reached out to her, called her, and apologized, which is great, but Patrick Beverley can't be having these moments, okay? Especially not after losses. I will say this. This is probably the closest thing to the malice in the palace that I've ever seen. I know Marcus Smart, when he was in college, went into the stands. There's been a couple times in college basketball where guys have went into the stands and confronted, fans who are saying wrong things or nasty things. However, the way this happened just is simply something that cannot happen. I know a lot of people are saying Patrick Beverley should be banned. There's people like Chris Broussard, I think, said that he should get a 5-game suspension, which is fucking crazy to me because, honestly, throwing a ball at the fans is the closest thing you can get to actually getting in the stands and, fighting a fan, which is forbidden in the NBA. Okay, ever since the malice in the palace, that's I don't know if it's an unwritten rule. I'm pretty sure it's a written rule, but most players completely understand that you can't do shit like that, no matter what the fan says to you, okay? You cannot go into the stands for any reason at all and do physical harm to a fan. And I'm just saying, that ball didn't go into the stands once, it went into the stands twice, and the second time was significantly harder than the first time. And if I know Adam Silver, he's going to come down. I would not be surprised if Patrick Beverley is the next guy who catches a ban. I mean, Jonte Porter got banned from the NBA for betting against himself, okay? and compromising the integrity of the game. But when you get to the point where you are physically assaulting fans because apparently what was said was Cancun on 3, 3, 2, 1, Cancun, or whatever. Apparently that's what was said that sparked this outburst from Patrick Beverley. And to me, I'm sorry, I find that fucking hilarious. The idea that the Bucks were in a huddle, and at the end of the huddle, one of the fans yelled Cancun on 3, and they were 1, 2, 3, and then the fan yelled Cancun. I'm sorry. To me, that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. That's literally hilarious. But the idea that this was his reaction to that is shocking to me. However, on the opposite hand, it's kind of not because of how, he's had a lot of controversial moments in his career where after a loss, he'd come out and he shoved Chris Paul one time. And this was worse than the Chris Paul situation. I'm going to call it what it This was way worse than the Chris Paul situation. It's one thing if you got beef with somebody on the court. It's another to have beef with somebody in the stands and then try to inflict physical harm on them. And as a Pacers fan, I think, and as Pacers fans watching this video, I think, we understand that better than anybody in the NBA. Us and the Detroit Pistons, okay? So, I will say this. I think there's going to be a really, really hefty fine. I actually think that... Hold on, can we get some focus here? There we go. I think Patrick Beverley is going to get an insane fine. I think he's going to be required to offer a public apology. And I really would not be surprised if he gets banned from the NBA. I don't even, honestly, John Morant got suspended for almost a half a season because of a video he posted on Instagram. Physically assaulting a fan, if you're not going to ban him for life, I think is a 1-year ban minimum. Like a minimum. Like the NBA has to set a precedent now with, first they had to do it with Jonte Porter. Now they got to do it with Patrick Beverley. Like if you assault a fan, minimum 1-year ban. No matter how you do it. Okay? Whether you're throwing something at them or it comes to fisticuffs or whatever. A precedent needs to be set that you cannot, under any circumstance, physically assault a fan. Now, I understand fans maybe say some wild shit, and honestly, part of me was really hoping that this fan said something way worse than what was actually said. But the idea that he threw the ball into the stands twice because somebody yelled Cancun on 3, 3, 2, 1 Cancun. I mean, it's just, I can't, that's not a justifiable reason. So, this is not a good look for Patrick Beverley. And it sucks because, based on what I've seen on Patrick Beverley's podcast and stuff like that, I always thought he was maybe a better dude than this, but it's very obvious that he's not. He needs to... I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA makes him take anger management classes. Like they did it to Draymond Green over technical fouls. And Patrick Beverley has a history of doing these really shitty things after losses, and I feel like the NBA is going to come down not only with a fine, a 1-year ban, they're going to come down with anger management classes. They're going to, and that's if he wants to play in the league anymore. I think, if you want my honest opinion, I feel like we've seen Patrick Beverley play his last game in the NBA. And I think maybe Patrick Beverley knows that too. Maybe that's why he had this outburst. Like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out on a high note and, just do some crazy over-the-line shit. But this is unacceptable. And I've lost any respect I had for Patrick Beverley. Even the constant promoting of his podcast, 1 subscriber is not really making a huge difference in your life. I don't know why reporters have to be subscribed to your podcast in order for you to be able to ask him a question. That seems incredibly petty. It seems incredibly childish. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen, but being the idea that ball went into the stands not once but twice, I have a feeling Adam Silver is going to come down really, really fucking hard. I would be shocked if they don't. I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, well, he should only get banned 5 games. No, I think if he's not getting a lifetime ban, then it should be at the very least an entire season. So, I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but this entire debacle was really, really insane. I kind of can't believe that this actually happened, and to do something like that over somebody just saying that you're going home. I get it. Nobody likes to lose in the first round, but it's just the idea, this is a guy who's been bounced out of the first round, I think every year for the last 5 years. I don't think he's ever made it past the second round. So, and even Nick Wright went crazy. If you think that Nick Wright went in the most on Patrick Beverley, I shout out to Cole, I think it was, in the chat, in the Discord, who posted that. I don't remember who, but Nick Wright really went in on Patrick Beverley. If you get a chance, look up Nick Wright's take on Patrick Beverley and what he did last night, because Nick Wright, went over everything, or everything Patrick Beverley's ever done wrong in his career. Nick Wright had it on deck. So, anyway, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.